less than 5 minutes to go here, and we'll be starting up. Make sure that you register and sign on with www.tradewithufos.com/OPA so that you don't miss any sessions and you can get them identified and put into your calendar. Alright, so we have less than about a minute to go here, and while we're waiting, I recommend that you go ahead and read the disclaimer. All right, we're about to start, and so let's go ahead and take a look at the disclaimer. The following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradedictive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through the demonstrations do not indicate in any way the results you may receive by using the products. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what we've got in store for us today. As always, every Wednesday, I'm streaming live from Bien Hoa City, Dong Nai province in Vietnam, coming to you from the Pegasus Plaza in downtown Bien Hoa. It is just after 10 a.m. here in Vietnam, so it's after 3 in London, and it's Tuesday night, 10 p.m. on the U.S. East Coast. This is Nailing FX, Spot Forex Trading Simplified. Here is the schedule for this month. Today we are the 20th of January and streaming live on YouTube. Make sure that when you look at the schedule, you understand that the times in the schedule are based on Eastern Standard Time. And when you take a look at YouTube, remember to follow and like on the YouTube sessions. If you need to get a hold of me for any reason, you have two options, actually three options. You can send me email at opa@tradedictive.com. You can send me an email at fxopabert@gmail.com. You can follow up on Facebook at Pipsville. You can locate that at FX Pips Trading. And of course, once you are signed up on the Nailing FX Trade with UFOs, www.tradewithufos.com/OPA, you can put your questions right in there, and they will be addressed and archived so that in the future someone else has a question, those questions will get answered. As always, you can always go ahead and go to www.tradewithufos.com/get-together, and you'll see the upcoming live sessions. Put them into your calendar and you'll be ready to go. All right, so this is a live session right now, and so let's go ahead and see what's on tap for today. In today's session of the Nailing FX series, we're going to review finding a trade, quickly go through that review. First, we'll look at a little bit of Forex math, and that will help us to identify strong versus weak. And then we'll go into the overall trend and current trend, how to identify the overall trend and current trend. We'll look at the MT4, the zebra indicators, to help confirm trades. And of course, we'll look at the confluence with trading view. Okay, and today I hope that we will do some hunting for some potential trades. So those are the things on tap. Let's go ahead and get started. First, let's look at Forex math, identifying strong and weak. In previous sessions, I showed you the profiles, the MT4 profiles that we had set up for each of the currencies. Now, this profile that you see on the screen is the US profile. So all of the indicators here are US. And you see that, again, you have to remember that when the USD is the first part of the currency pair in the symbol, it means that it is the base currency, and all charts always reflect the base currency. So I have set this up with 8 charts to give us a nice balance. Actually, we only need 7, but with 7 the balance would be off. So you see on the top row, the US is always in the base position. On the bottom row, the US is in the counter position. Okay? Now, when I say counter position, some other people call it by other names. I just learned it as counter, and it kind of sticks in my mind. So we're going to look at that. Then we can look at the individual currencies, their cross pairs, and see how they stack up against each other. And then obviously we find what is the strongest currency pair and which one is the weakest. Obviously, when we match the strongest pair against the weakest pair, it's a fairly good anticipation that the stronger one will dominate. So that's what we do, okay? A lot of people ask, how do we identify which currency pair to trade? Well, that's the way we do it. We do it on a daily chart, Now, you can do it in lower time frames, but it's less effective, and you really don't get the kind of returns that you'd like to see. So that's Forex math, strong versus weak. We'll get into that specifically in just a bit. The next thing that we always do, that I always do, you can do it, take my word for it, it helps. Your trading plan may be a little bit different. It's up to you. You're the one responsible for your trades. No one else. No one ever else is responsible for your trade. No matter how the trade happens on your account, you are responsible for it. Okay? So the next thing I do is I look at the overall trend and I look at the current trend. Now, how do I determine the overall trend? The overall trend I determine by the channel indicator, okay? I'm looking at how price is moving in a channel during the time frame, that I'm analyzing. Now, I can analyze in any time frame. As a matter of fact, the currency indicator has the capability of analyzing in the current and higher time frames simultaneously. That was explained way back when in one of our previous sessions. So here you see that the channel indicator is definitely showing a longer term, the overall trend, the longer term trend is up. Currently up. However, using the first two profile lines, okay, we see that the current trend here, and I hope you're able to see my cursor. I've enlarged the cursor and put a highlight, a circle around it so that it makes it easier to see. Here, you can see that the current trend is down. So the two indicators that we're using here are the channel and the indicator 62, 65, zebra profile, and SET. Now, again, those are customizable. There are a lot of parameters that you can turn on and turn off. And so I only have the first two moving averages of the profile turned on to identify current trend. That's all I need initially. So just looking at this chart, you could see that when I got channel dots, I just call them channel dots, because price has moved into an upper or lower band of the channel. Okay, we have an upper band, a lower band, a middle band in the channel. Those dots appear when price moves there. And I'm going to be interested because those dots indicate that I have gone to an extreme. I've gone to extreme. Okay, for that time frame. And I always start my trading looking at the dailies and see what's available, might be available in the dailies, and then work my way down multiple time frame analysis to see if I can hone in on a good entry. All right, so there's the overall trend the long term overall and the current trend, how you identify those. Okay. Next, once we've got an idea of which direction we might want to take a trade, then we look for our confirmation indicators. Then we look at our confirmation indicators. And we've got a lot of confirmation indicators. Okay, so this requires some work. This is not look at one thing and press the button. You have to do analysis. And if you're not comfortable with doing analysis, don't trade. Quite honestly, if you want to throw your money away, give it to charitable organizations. Okay, don't get in the idea that you can make a lot of money very quickly. Don't listen to, those snake oil salesmen all over the internet that are telling you that you can make money fast, because it requires work. It requires work and it requires analysis. You have to have good reasons that you believe in, not because I told you, because you have done the analysis, you've done your due diligence and looked back and confirmed in your own mind and heart that things work. That's how you end up with good trades. All right, so MT4 indicators, we've talked a lot about them. We've talked about them individually in past sessions. I'm not going to belabor that right now. So let's go ahead and take a look what's next. Finally, I recommend, and you don't have to, but I recommend that you identify confluence with TradingView, because that is another method for identifying and increasing the likelihood that you will get into a good trade. The likelihood, right? No guarantee. There is never a guarantee in trading. But unlike gambling, okay, and many people say trading is gambling, it is not. Because unlike gambling, you can do a very good analysis to improve the percentage probability that your trade will be correct. And unlike in the gambling situation, when you are trading, if for whatever reason you change your mind, you are able to adjust your trades or terminate them. It's up to you. Again, based on a trading plan that you should have established. All right, so here we can see this is as of this morning. Here I'm looking at the Euro USD, and I see that we did go into an upper band of the channel. We've come out of that upper band. We've retraced back to that little box here. And that box is, again, a commercial indicator that you'll need to go ahead and get on your own. I don't provide that. And prices come down. And looks like it's doing a little bit of a pullback, and maybe it's a reversal. Okay? So I look down here again at the MACD. And I see that the MACD has given me some signals that indicate price should be dropping. Okay, how you read the MACD, again, detailed information in previous sessions that you can go back to. You can go ahead and go back to and review, because they're all recorded. Some of them are recorded from Forex Street. Some of them are recorded on YouTube. Maybe we'll be able to come up with a list for those people that are members, signed up, so that they get a URL that has everything. We'll take a look at that. So here's the MT4 on the left. You see here MT4 on the left, and here we can see the TradingView chart. which mimics the MT4, but provides additional information. Okay. Here we can see the areas where the algorithm of unfilled orders provides some information. The algorithm, I've kind of shaded those areas a little bit. Now down below here, you also see this indicator here. And so this indicator is the climate, very, very similar to a combination of long-term, short-term trend, all right? And like any indicator that provides this type of display, you can see here that the indicator, I've drawn a line here, that the indicator was showing weakness. Here, the blue dots tell you that the indicator is telling you that there's strength in the in that particular currency pair. So it will likely continue to move up. It was started to drop. You can see that pullback. Then it showed strength again, but that strength did not reach the same level as it did prior. However, price did in fact go up. So what is this? It's common in trading to look at things and see when there is a divergence, an obvious divergence between price movement, price action, and an indicator. Okay. So the indicator is saying we're weakening, weakening, weakening. In the trading view chart here of the auto climate, we've gone well beyond what the indicator, the algorithm said the trend should last. Here you can see lots of blue. Price is rising, indicator dropping, and all divergence says is, hey, you know what? There is some conflict. The indicator, the algorithm, the math is saying price should be going down, but it's not. It's continuing to go up. And if that conflict between an indicator and price continues, it's a good bet that there is going to be a change. And so we see that change happen. We got the price movement down. So we saw that divergence here in the auto climate. We also see here, if you look to the left here in the MACD, we saw that the MACD was starting to drop. We got a yellow circle on the MACD when the MACD actually crossed below the signal line, and that was the first indication that price was weakening, was really weakening. And so with a weakening indicator, but price continuing to move up, we would be on the lookout for price to change. And that's when we get into the trade, when we've got a high degree of confidence that the indicators are telling us this is what's going to happen or might happen. And with that confidence, you take the trade. Are you going to be correct all the time? No. You must do your own nailing FX trade analysis. Okay? You have to do that. So the links here, all these links, they are, excuse me just a second, we got I can't get this off. All right, looks like I'm getting a delivery here, so have to just postpone that for a little bit. Sorry about that interruption. Tradewithufos.com/OPA, that's where you subscribe. You can always do a Google search using Nailing FX OPA Bert, and you'll get weekly information on summaries and the recorded sessions. So now that I've given you the introduction to what we're all about today, let's go ahead and do some analysis based on real-time charts. Real-time. We always do real-time charts here so that there's never any question about cherry picking what we're doing. All right, so let's see, can escape that and close that. Close that, and here, let's go ahead and look at this. This is my majors profile. This is the USD-US pair, okay? This is live. These are all dailies, so there's not going to be any significant movement in this. And again, the top part of this chart, of the top four on this chart, are USD in the base position, so we're looking at what's happening here. So I can look at this and I can scan this very quickly. What is my first thing? My first thing is to look at what is the overall trend, and I can see that the channel is down, but that right now I've got an short-term trend that is showing up. However, I've got some indications here that that short-term trend may be coming to an end. And if that short-term trend ends and then we are in sync with the longer-term trend, we should see a nice opportunity to go short on the US Swiss. Okay, so here we're looking at the next one is the US JPY, and let me make sure that we can see the trend. All right, so the trend is down, and the long-term trend is down to going flat, and so the short-term trend is also very flat, okay? The MACD is telling me that, the MACD, those little diamonds are now touching and on the zero. So right now on the euro, on the US yen, there's a lot of indecision. Okay, where might it go? We got a signal that says it might want to go down. Everything's flat, so there's nothing for us to really do with the US JPY. Let's move on and take a look at US Canadian, and see if I can get this to come down a little bit. All right, so here definitely long-term trend is down. Okay, we have bounced out of the lower band of the channel. Okay, got some indications that it's going to move up. However, there's still strength to the downside. This might turn and continue to travel to the downside. We need to take a look at this and see what happens. Right now, again, sideways movement, no real conviction on the short-term trend as far as the daily chart is concerned. Okay. So next, the last one that we take a look at, and I do look at this and I do trade the US Singapore dollar. It's a very interesting currency pair to trade. Not many people will trade it. I do because I spent 3 years living in Singapore. Singapore has become one of the significant financial centers in the Asian region, so it's worth taking a look at. The Singapore dollar, US dollar, is weak against the Singapore dollar. It is down. Okay, the long term, the overall trend is down. The short term trend was showing some strength coming up, but it is now also, because of the close below the profiles, it is showing some weakness. We'll see. There's nothing there. So according to the top row, if I take the top four, I've got a -1 for the Swiss. I've got basically a 0 for the yen. I've got a -1 for the CAD and a -1 for the Singapore dollar, giving me a -3 indication for the US dollar. Here we go to Euro USD, and I've got to bring that. All right, so the Euro USD, because Euro is in the base currency, it tells me the Euro is strong long term. The channel is up for the Euro, so that means it's down for the US. So we've got that, and now what we see is that it has pulled back. There has been a pullback. That pullback may have ended, and we're seeing some potential for the short term to go up again, indicating that there might be an opportunity to go long with the Euro USD. We have to watch to see how that goes. Okay. Next one that we're looking at is the pound US, and again, what we're seeing is everything is going to the upside. Everything is going to the upside on the pound US. Let me go ahead and open that up so that it's, there you go. All right. So we're trading in the upper portion of the channel, but it's still showing strength to the upside. We are seeing some divergence here in the pound US, but we're going to need a lot more for the indicators to give us a comfortable, good feeling to take this trade. So let's go to the next one, Aussie US. Here we see the Aussie US. The long-term trend based on the channel is up. So that means the dollar is weak against the Aussie. And we've got some indication that price may be moving down. Yes, Lazada? Yeah, you go to lobby. Give in lobby. Go lobby reception. Give package to reception. Yeah, give reception. Thank you. All right, sorry about that. Have to deal with those packages that we get here. All right, so Aussie US, again, the long term is up. Short term has a little bit of a pullback, not showing a lot of strength. no real divergence, because this could pull back up. So the Aussie is not something that we'd be interested in at this point. Here is the NZD, which moves similar to the Aussie. Now the NZD has shown that it short term wants to come down, looking for a little bit of a pullback. Might see a pullback there and a drop. We definitely see divergence down here. So based on just these two or this, looking at the lower four, I've got -1, another -1 for the Euro USD, another -1 for the pound, another -1 for the Aussie, and a minus for the NZD. So as far as the US value is concerned, I've got a -7, with the potential for trading the US Swiss or US or Euro USD. Those are two candidates that kind of came out of this quick analysis. Now, I'm going to tell you, although I'm going to be looking at those two to give me a better picture, I will be hesitant to actually put on a trade unless it's really good, simply because of what's happening in the US today, tomorrow, and the next couple of days with the new presidential inauguration. Okay, that's going to have an impact on the markets. So we'll see. All right, so now what I need to do is I need to change this profile, and I want to go to the US Swiss. So I'm going to find my US Swiss profile. I got Aussie, CAD, and here is Swiss. Okay. So let's see how long this takes for it to turn around here. All right, so this will be the 6 currency pairs relating to the Swiss. Now, the US is not part of this 6 because it was on there. All right, so here's the daily here. I'm looking at the Swiss compared to the yen, and the Swiss is showing strength compared to the yen, right? Because we're seeing an upward movement in the channel. It has pulled back, but showing some indications of strength. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at the Aussie Swiss. Okay, now the Aussie Swiss has weakness. Why? Because Aussie is in the base position, right? So we've got a +1 and a -1. So let's take a look at the pound Swiss. And the pound Swiss is now minus. So Swiss is weak. So we have a -1. The first two cancel each other. We have a -1. Now let's look at the Euro Swiss and take a look. That's pretty flat. That's fairly flat. So I'm not even going to consider that on the Euro here. Swiss. Let's look at the Canadian Swiss. And what do we see here? Again, very flat, very flat. And here on the NZD Swiss, up, NZD up, so it's a +1. So basically -1, +1 with the flat areas. The Swiss being a safe haven currency, obviously, again, the election, the new administration coming in, there's some feelings of, well, inconsistencies. They just don't know. The rest of the world is kind of trying to figure out what's going to happen in the U.S. There's a lot of problems that we can see here. All right, so the Swiss, probably not one to trade. Okay, so that one's been knocked out. The other one was the euro. So let's go ahead and take a look at the euro and see how that stacks up. Remember, what we're looking for, strongest, weakest. The dollar was the weakest. We had a -7 on the dollar. And so we're looking for the euro here to show me some strength. Show me some strength. All right. On the euro pound, it's flat. On the euro yen, the euro is strong against the euro. So it's not real strong, but I'll go ahead and give it a 1. Euro on the Aussie is a minus. Okay, the Aussie is definitely stronger than the euro. Okay, and so we're back to 0. And the euro is always in the base position, so we just look at the chart and can read off plus or minus there. Flat against the Swiss, we already knew that. And let's go to the Canadian, see what it looks like. Flat against the Canadian. And when we look at the New Zealand is mimicking the Aussie. So we get a -1 on the euro here. So we didn't really find a strong candidate for this. Okay, so let's take a look at the Aussie. See what we come up with the Aussie. Can the Aussie show strength against all of the other major currencies? Okay, so the euro Aussie is down. That means the Aussie is a +1. The Aussie CAD is up, so that's a +2. The Aussie yen is up, so that's a +3. The pound Aussie shows down, so that's a +4. The Aussie Swiss showing strength, that's a +5. And the Aussie New Zealand, I'm going to give it a plus. So Aussie is +6. Euro USD is -7. There we have it, folks. So what we should be considering to trade is the pair that includes the US and the Aussie US, right? +6, -7. Aussie showing strength overall. So now what we need to do is go to back to the majors. We can do that. Go back to the majors. Normally I have a test profile where I would go to, but for time constraints that we have here, I'm just going to go ahead and see if we can't go back here real quick. Find the Aussie US right here, bring that up. So there we see the Aussie US. There is a little bit of a pullback that it's identified. So now what we're going to do is we'll drop down to the 1 hour and see what's happening with the Aussie on the 1 hour. So there is some strength, but in the 1 hour it's getting ready to get up here into the upper band. So it's basically flat. You can see that the channel is flat here. Let's go take a look at the 15-minute. And again, very flat. We're trading in the upper of the 15, indicating the price should pull down. But look at the MACD. The MACD is still showing a lot of strength. There is no divergence here. We had here this move where we got the rounded top on the MACD at this point, and higher and higher and higher. So there is no divergence. The MACD is not indicating to us that there might be divergence where price is going to be coming down. So I'm thinking that the Aussie USD long position may be a good place to put a trade. Might be a good place. So let me go back to the daily on this, and we see the daily. Now what I'm going to do is go over to our trading view. Remember, we look to the trading view and see how we get a correlation. I'm going to have to move this back so that there's Aussie US on the daily chart. And we still see we had some indications here. This was previous trades that we took, that I took. I keep saying we, simply because we are talking. Let me get rid of these. Whoops. I got rid of too much there. All right. And auto phase. We want to see the auto phase. And auto climate. Where is auto climate? UFO. Somehow I took off more than what I had anticipated, but that's okay. Give you a chance to see how to put that on. Here is my favorites. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead. We got a bunch of buys down below here. That's good indication that price wants to go up, right? And we have a couple of sells up here. So I've got a sell level here. Okay, so price is going down right now, but not strong. And we're looking at that. Let's go ahead and also take a quick look. Let me go ahead and highlight this level here. All right, so there we see that we have an unfilled order area sitting up here at the top, which would push price down. We have a buy area just below here with a lot of buys. We're right in the middle as far as the daily is concerned, right in the middle for the daily. So let's go ahead, and I keep saying we and let's because I feel like you're in the classroom with me here. And when I'm teaching live in a classroom, we do this together, okay? So that you get the idea. Obviously, on a streaming session like this, you're just watching, and hopefully you're taking in the steps that I'm taking here. All right, so let's go ahead and let me go ahead and go to the hourly chart. Wow. Open up the hourly. Bring this down. So on the hourly, we've got a nice area here. Okay, so it looks like we might see a little bit of pullback, and then going up here, up to this area right up in here, where we've got, so there's some opportunity there. So let me go ahead and mark out this area, and the indication, looking at the auto climate down below here, the auto climate started back here and said that there was six time frames that we could be seeing price move up, and we're currently in the fourth period. Okay, so the algorithm anticipated that 5.81 periods of upward movement is likely, and so we're in the fourth period of that. So there's two more periods for price to go up, at least 2 hours, and that may extend longer. We don't know. All right, so an upward move right now, as far as the hourly is concerned, is a potential. Let's go ahead and now go to the 15-minute and see what we have on the 15-minute. And you'll notice on the 15-minute, the areas that are grayed in from the hourly seem to correspond significantly with the in the 15-minute chart. All right, so what that tells me is that I have a likelihood of getting in down here a little bit deeper. Let's go ahead at 0.7713, 0.7713. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that, I want to, come on. Horizontal ray. And I want to change that color to an entry color, so that's my entry is blue. And my stop, okay, we had 1.3, and my this is long, so my target should be up at 2.5, 1.3 to 2.5. I'm going to make that 3.0. 3.0 is going to be my target. It's right there. And I'm going to change that color to green. Okay. And so my stop, let's see, we've got 3.0, so it's 15, 16, 17, 8, about 17 pips of gain here, looking at a 15-minute chart. And my stop should be at 77 even. So I've got a 12 pip stop here, and change that color to red. All right, so that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and move this over. So I have all this information here, and I'm going to bring up my Aussie US chart 15. Okay. And let's see if I can move this over a little bit. Whoa, something happened here. All right, so let's take a look. What happened with this? Oh. All right, so let's see. 7713, 7713. Where is 77? 7713 is there. Okay. Come on. Accept. Help me here. Oh, I got. Why? Order. Buy limit. Okay. Buy limit we get here, and I'm going to tick that up. So there's 7713 buy, and my stop loss is at 7,700, which is a hard number. See if I can bring that down. Okay, so there's my stop loss at 7,700, and my take profit was at 77.30. All right, so there's the order. It's a buy limit because we're trying to get in at a lower price. So we got a buy limit, and now I click on place, and successful. Okay. So here you can see on the chart, here is this dashed line. This is the stop down here. Here is the entry, okay, entry. And so that entry is just at the top of this blue box, which is nice. I like that. And let me go ahead. And so we're looking for price to move up here. Little tiny bit better than a 1-to-1 on this trade. And I hope you can see why we put this trade on. Okay. Again, using the confluence of the trading view chart here. Okay, you can see the trading view chart where we set up everything, got our numbers based on looking at the indicators here. Here we've got a lot of nice indicators, okay, telling us it's going to go down. So there's a potential for it to come down. I'm anticipating that price is going to come down to this level down here and then go up. Now this would be a normal, absolutely normal process to take. We've looked at basically everything, seeing everything that's here. However, the things that are going on in the world, especially in the United States right now, makes it really questionable as to whether or not we should even try to take a trade, wait for things to settle down a bit and see what happens. Will the dollar become stronger, or will it continue its weak movement to the downside? What's the effect going to be against all the other currencies? Which other currency is going to come up and show strength? So here we see that we're anticipating that the Aussie is going to be the one that shows strength. We don't know. We don't know. So my time is just about up. Unfortunately, I cannot see any questions that you may have had while I was explaining my approach. If you sign up, go ahead and go to www.tradewithufos.com/OPA. Sign up, it's free, and what you'll see there once you've signed up is down at the lower section there'll be a place to put in questions. You go ahead and put in your questions, and they will be answered in the Trade with UFOs section where we have the Q&A. Okay, and so that'll be available for everyone to see, and you can go back and look at answers. All in all, remember that it's very, very important that you do your own trade analysis, because you are ultimately responsible for what happens on your account. You cannot get away with saying, well, I followed you and you screwed me up and my account is now negative, or I lost money, or whatever. If you took the trade, you have to have good reason to take the trade. Do not trust anyone. Do not even trust me that I'm taking the best trade, because I can be wrong. And I have been wrong. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to tell you that I make mistakes. Okay? Sometimes I don't make a mistake, but the market doesn't do what I anticipated. And there's no way to identify the market and say it will, it must. No such thing. All right, so there you go. My time is up. Have a great week and enjoy trading. I'll see you next time.